What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I've been unboxing and first impression on this boot right here, the Under Armour Magnetico Elite 5. Now I wasn't really planning on getting these boots, but they sent me these by mistake, so I decided why not make a first impressions and unboxing video. So here we have the box, standard Under Armour box, and then here is the colorway that I received, which is this black and blue. Um, and yeah, it looks okay. I'm not really a big fan of black boots, but this has a shiny, like, glossy finish with like blue, like, stripes. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. And then the sole plate here does have like some speckles. But overall, I feel like the colorway is okay. Not really my favorite, just because it is black. With like another color, I usually don't really like that. But yeah, they're okay. Let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comments. So when the Magnetico Elite 5 came out, I actually thought it looked better than the previous model, just because the previous model did look a little bit chunky. This time around, it seems like it's just a one-piece upper with like knitted material in the middle and a little bit knit in the collar. So I guess first we'll check out the upper. So this is an Under Armour clone upper. That's what they call it. And this upper, it feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's not really that stiff. You guys can see it does flex pretty easily and it is pretty pliable. So it has a nice feel to it. It's not super plasticky, even though it looks plasticky. It doesn't feel plasticky. So I guess that's good. You guys can see, oh, it's kind of difficult to see with this color, but there are these like plastic bits around the upper. Hopefully you guys can see them. But yeah, this provides more of uh, like a rough texture. It's not really sticky whatsoever. Like I could glide through them, but you can do feel them. So it's supposed to have more of a gritty texture, just like I guess the Tequila V5 and the Adidas F50 with their sprint web texture. But this does feel a little bit like thicker and bigger. So maybe it will like grip the ball or just add a little bit more friction to the ball. Otherwise, it would be more of this slick material. But honestly, it doesn't feel too bad. It's a good thing it doesn't take away from the softness and pliability of the upper, so that's good. But who knows if it's going to be noticeable or not. Another cool thing about this material is that it does have the ability to stretch. And so hopefully I can show you guys here. Like I can pull it. Hopefully you guys can see that. It does stretch, but it kind of goes back to its original shape. The upper itself doesn't feel too thin. It does have an internal liner, which is very difficult to see, but it does feel more of this kind of soft suede material on the inside, or I don't know, it's just like a soft material that it is lined. So I think that also helps with the structure of the boot. If not, it would be a little too soft and a little bit too pliable, and maybe it would overstretch. So that probably helps with the structure of the boot, so it doesn't like overstretch. But yeah, this boot isn't really super thick, and it's not on the thinner side either. I feel like it's nice in between, especially because of this pattern. It does create just a little bit of this like feeling that it does have some padding to it, but since it is embossed, I believe it just kind of flattens out a little bit. So it's not really that thick. It's not on the thin side either, but it feels pretty good in my opinion. We do have a knitted material here in the middle, which feels okay. It does feel kind of thick, I will say that. But here in the collar area, it does look pretty cheap. You guys can see like it just, I don't know, folds in on itself, and it doesn't really stay in the shape of the collar, I guess. And so for me, this just looks very cheap. Like I wouldn't be happy with this the way it looks. Like it just doesn't look premium whatsoever. It kind of reminds me of like the knit collar from the Skechers SKX, where that also just doesn't sit flush with your foot, and I'm guessing these won't sit flush either. But yeah, it just doesn't look very premium whatsoever. And since we're here in the heel kind of looks kind of chunky. You guys can see, oh, it's kind of difficult to show you guys, but there is some padding to it, and the padding itself, it isn't overly soft. It just feels like there's a thick, like, it's kind of hard to tell, but it just feels like a thick material here, and it just doesn't. I feel like it won't be comfortable. Obviously, I'll let you guys know on the on feet portion, but this like material doesn't feel overly soft. So I am worried about the heel, and like I said, the heel just kind of looks a little bit chunky, especially with like this like knitted material. So we'll see how that is. Here the outsole, it is on the flexible side, but as you guys can see, I could bend it here in the middle pretty easily. There isn't really much stability here in the midfoot. It is on the softer side. Um, so yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. You guys can see when I just push it down, it just doesn't really have, I guess, something here to like maintain it. Um, so usually with these, once you have them on feet, they don't feel too bad. But this just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. It just flexes weird. Here in the forefoot, when I hold it, no, it feels okay. It's still on the flexible side, but does have some resistance. But then when I just do that, it just, yeah, I don't know. So here the stud pattern is mainly conical studs with these little bit of studs having an extension piece. Kind of making them almost like blades just because it is extended. Um, so I feel like they are more on the aggressive side just because they do have that little bit of extra like bite here on these as well as in the heel. Here in the forefoot, you just have conical studs, and honestly, they don't look too like long, which I guess is good. So I think these would be safe to use on AG. But you know, they look okay, nothing too crazy here. And we'll move on to an on feet portion so I could talk about how they fit and feel on feet. All right, guys. So here we have the cleats on feet, and these boots feel really tight. Like the upper, it does stretch, but it kind of goes back to its shape, and so it kind of like just hugs your foot very closely. Like there's no extra space whatsoever. It kind of forms to the shape of your foot instantly. But like I said, it does feel kind of tight. And if you don't like a super tight sensation, then these boots are probably not the ones for you. And if you do have a really wide foot, I feel like these were just gonna feel really uncomfortable. The toe box is also very low in volume, and so they do feel pretty snug there. So again, if you don't like your toes being very tight, then I wouldn't recommend these. I will say that with the original insole, they did feel even tighter. Here is the original insole, and you guys can see it is pretty thick, and it just takes up more volume inside the boot. So I did replace them with a thinner pair of insoles, and they feel a lot better. Still tight, not as tight when I had these on, so they do feel a little bit more comfortable, and I actually do feel like I can play in them. Just with this insole, they just felt super tight and really uncomfortable for my foot, just because I do have a wider foot. In terms of the sizing, I got these in my normal size of 9 US, and they fit pretty well, basically all the way to the edge. Maybe I have a little bit of space, but like I said, there's barely any volume in the toe box, so for me that is fine. I wouldn't recommend going half a size up just because I feel like they would just be a little too big, even though there is less volume in the toe box. I still wouldn't recommend it. The heel doesn't really feel great right now. I do have a pressure point on my left heel, like right here, and it's kind of digging into my heel. And I'm guessing it's that padding that, like I said, doesn't feel soft whatsoever. It is a little bit on the firmer side, and I could kind of feel it digging into my Achilles and just trying to hold that there. Like like I could feel it like just digging in, and it's super uncomfortable, and I just don't like it. I feel like I'm gonna get a blister if I do wear these. Um, so the heel, I feel like it isn't the best, and like I said, it just feels a little bit on the firmer side, and like the shape overall doesn't really feel all that great. I feel like that padding is doing its best to like try to hold on to your heel, but it's just causing a little bit of discomfort. So I'll leave you guys with my final thoughts. All right, guys. So the Under Armour Magnetico Elite 5 is a little bit of a weird boot. Like the upper does feel pretty nice and it is pliable. So I am curious how they will feel like once you start playing with them. But like I said earlier, this is a boot that they did send by mistake, and I will be returning these, so I won't be able to do a playtest or a full review. If you guys are interested in seeing like a playtest and a full review on this boot, just let me know down in the comments. Tell me that you guys do want to see it. Make sure to give a like to this video. If I see that there is a good amount of people like wanting a review, I will purchase these again in the future, and I'll do a playtest and a full review on these. But if I don't really see that much engagement with the video, then I probably won't bring these back and won't do a full review, just to save money, just because I don't think there's a lot of interest in this boot. So that's it for the unboxing and first impressions on the Under Armour Magnetico Elite 5. If you guys have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them, but like I said, I won't be wearing these cleats. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so you're notified for a future video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.